Hey everybody, it's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. It is September 16th, Monday, September 16th, and I am popping on live for my regular Monday evening craft show. It's my Monday evening craft show. So tonight I am going to show you a super easy card project using some blending brushes and some Stampin Blends and a little bit of ribbon. So let's flip. I'm going to flip the phone around and we'll get started. So you're going to get a shot of my messy kitchen. My messy kitchen. All right, here we go. Okay, so I'm just going to adjust my camera a little bit. Oops. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Awkward, awkward. Here we go. And I'm just going to, perfect, that looks really good. All right, so I just want to make sure that you can see my hands and not my messy kitchen table, because I really do have a messy kitchen table. All right, so tonight I'm going to use the More Than Autumn stamp set. We're going to make a fall themed card. Well, I think it's fall themed. Hey Karen, thanks for tuning in. So one of my favorite desserts is pumpkin pie. So of course I need to do something with this little slice of pumpkin pie because that just makes me, super happy. So we have got a Cajun Craze card base. This is 5.5 by 8.5, and I've scored it at 4.25 on the long side. So I'm just going to fold that in half, and that's our card base. And then I have got two pieces of basic white. They are both 5.25 by 4. One is for the inside and one's for the front of the card. And then another piece of Cajun Craze. This is 1.25 by 4. And this is a piece of the designer series paper from the iconic Celebrations 6x6 paper. So I won't get into it, but there's a lot of different patterns in this pack that are good for birthdays, Christmas, Halloween, autumn. What else? Oh, yeah, I think there's even wine glasses in here for anniversaries. Yes, I'll have to show you. Whoops, butterfingers, sorry about that. Yeah, there's even little wine glasses for anniversary cards. So it's really versatile. And full disclosure, I've had it for a couple months and I just broke into it. So Karen, you are a fan of the pumpkin pie? We are same but different. Oh, and Valentine's Day, of course. Yeah, there's lots of different things in this pack. I don't normally love 6x6 paper. I'm more of a fan of the 12x12. I just seem to, I don't know, I seem to not have enough of each pattern in a 6x6, if that makes sense. But that's why I tend to go for the 12x12. But this is going to be a pretty handy little pack. So, all right, now, this is a very simple card. I do have Stampin Blends and a blending brush, but we'll get to that. The first thing I'm going to do is stamp my sentiment in the top, about the top third of one sheet of the basic white. And I'm just going to stamp it in black. All right, get that out of the way so I don't stick my hand in it. Okay. And then underneath my sentiment, I'm going to stamp this little pumpkin pie image. Perfect, perfect. But I'm not done yet. And because I love pumpkin pie, hey Jan, thanks for tuning in. I'm also going to stamp a few little hearts. And one more thing, before I put away my black, for the inside piece, I'm going to stamp a tiny little pumpkin, just in the bottom right corner. Okay, so I'm done with the black. I'm going to grab my Stampin Blends, and I grabbed the light pecan pie, and the dark actually, light and dark pecan pie, just to do the crust. So all I'm going to do with the dark is I'm going to follow along on these little lines of the stamp, and that is literally all I'm going to do for shading the crust. Hi Phyllis, thanks for tuning in. I see your comment. So now I've got my light pecan pie and I've got my brush tip, and I'm just filling in, and then I'm going to switch over to the bullet tip because the crust of this little pumpkin pie gets pretty skinny at the bottom. So when I was younger and not as worried about gaining a bunch of extra pounds, I used to always have a frozen pumpkin pie in my freezer. So on the weekend, I would take out a piece of that frozen pumpkin pie and I would chop it up into little bite-sized frozen pieces, and I would mix it in with some vanilla ice cream. I used to love that. I don't do that anymore because I pay the price. But I used to when I was young. So now I've got my dark pumpkin pie, and all I'm going to do is add a little bit of darker shading to the top of my pie and just down the edge here. And then I'm going to go over that with my light pumpkin pie, and I've got lots of room, so I'm going to use my brush tip. Hey Christine, thanks for joining us tonight. Nice to see you. So I think I love pumpkin pie the most out of Mike and Kai. I don't think they love pumpkin pie as much as I do, but anyway. All right, so the little pie is done, and then I've grabbed a light berry burst to do the hearts in. So you can, if you use your blending brush, I find the hearts are pretty small, so if I, the blending tip, I find it a little bit too big for the hearts, so I prefer the bullet tip, even though it feels like the bullet tip takes a little bit longer to do coloring wise, but I'm a little bit of a sloppy colorer, so this keeps me in the lines. Okay, so that's colored in, and now what I'm going to do is take my peach pie ink pad, and I'm going to pick up some ink with my blending brush. Now you can actually take your ink and you can rub some of it off right on your glass mat and then apply it to your cardstock. That works. You can let me just pull that out. You can rub some off right in the cover of your ink pad as well and then go onto your cardstock, or you can just start by taking off some of that ink on a piece of scrap paper before you start blending. And the reason you want to do that, so either way works. You can either do it on the lid of your stamp pad, you can take a little bit of color off on paper, or you can even do it on your glass mat. But you want to do that so you don't start out with a really heavy splotch of your blending color. So you can always add more color, but it's a little difficult to take it off. So I like to just rub a little bit of ink off before I start blending. And this particular card design, I'm not going to blend too much. I just want a little shading of the peach pie behind it. So if I didn't take a little bit of ink off, that just would have been really dark right off the start. So that's my blending brush tip to you. And if you use your ink pad or if you use the glass mat, you're not going to waste any of your ink because you can just pick it back up. All right, I'm going to get that out of the way. And then I'm just going to grab my dark pumpkin pie and fill in this little pumpkin too before I forget. Okay. So I'm going to glue down my inside piece. And of course I love Tombow because I have a little bit of wiggle room. You guys must get really tired of me talking about wiggle room with Tombow, but I really need that wiggle room. I just don't get things straight off the get-go. All right, so once I have it where I want it, I'm just giving it a little bit of pressure, and then the Tombow is going to get tacky and stick, and it doesn't take very long. So now the inside's done, and I've got this top piece. So I could just throw it on like that, and it looks cute, and it's super simple. But I'm going to step it up a little bit by adding a strip of Cajun Craze and this little strip of pumpkins. So I'm just, well, yeah, I'm going to do the pumpkins, but this side also works too. But I'm going for pumpkins, yes. All right, so now these strips are the same length. So I'm just going to make sure that my edges are lined up, and I've got an even border at the top and the bottom of this little strip of designer series paper, which, you know, is super handy with Tombow, so I can move it around a bit. Okay, so I have that done. And then I took a strip of this polka dot trim and I cut it in half because I think it's pretty thick for this project. So I just want a thin little piece, and I'm actually going to put that right in the middle of that cardstock. So I noticed on my sample card that the polka dot trim stuck up a little bit. So to fix that, I'm just going to stick a couple glue dots onto the back side of it, and then that's going to keep it nice and flush against my strip of designer series paper. Oops, that's stuck. Oh, hi, Janine. I hope I'm saying that right. Janine from Hanover, PA, I think is Pennsylvania. I think. Tell me if I'm wrong. Thanks for tuning in tonight. So I've got two little glue dots on the back of this. I'm just going to run my finger over that ribbon so they stick down. And then on the back side, I'll add a strip of tear and tape on both ends just to hold down that ribbon a little bit more. So for this trim, it's a little thicker than some of the other ribbons, so I'll probably pop this piece up with dimensionals, just because it's not going to lay flat if I glue it down. Oh, good. I got it right. There's a lot of states. Okay. Okay, so I've got that stuck down. It's nice and flush, and then I'm going to add some dimensionals, but I'm also going to reinforce these ribbon ends, or the trim ends, just so they don't come apart. I don't know if I really need to do that, but I just got in the habit of it because I don't want this card to, I don't know if the tape would dry up and then the ribbon would pop up, so I just like to add a little bit of extra reinforcement. All right, so I'm going to add some dimensionals. I know I'm heavy with dimensionals. I've been told this, but I love them. Oh, this one was just about on the edge of my cardstock, just about. Oh, I lost a dimensional. How did that happen? Hang on. Crisis averted. There we go. Oh, what stuck to my finger? All right. So I've also been aware of where the ribbon is and where the dimensionals are. I don't want my dimensionals to sit on top of my ribbon either, because I want this piece to lay the same height all the way across. Okay, so I've got this on, and then all I need to do is glue this on the front of the card, but I feel like it's missing something still. So I could add some bling. Hey Janice, thanks for tuning in. I know, the dimensional dilemma. Jan, this DSP is the Iconic Celebrations DSP. It was, I'm very sure, an online exclusive. There's a lot of different patterns in there for all sorts of occasions. Okay, so I'm just matting this down onto the front of my card. And I could add some of these faux glass dots, but I think it'll take away from my heart. So what I'm going to do instead, just to add a little bit more to this card, is add some twine. Just underneath this polka dot trim. So I'm going to slide a piece of twine underneath the trim, and then I'm going to tie it into a little bow. Always bling. I know. I don't know if I can do it, Karen. I don't think I'm going to bling this one. Well, I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. Just for you, Karen. I'm going to bling it. Okay, so I've added my bow, and I'm manipulating the ends of this bow so they face down to the bottom of the card, because that's where I want them to face. So it's actually pretty easy with this twine to just put your finger on your knot and pull on those tail ends, and you can usually finagle your bow exactly how you want it. I'm just going to trim these ends. I'm going to grab my faux glass dots for Karen. And yeah, let's do it. Let's bling it up. All right. I am going to use this bottom color. I actually don't know if this is Cajun Craze or Calypso Coral, so I'm going to have to go back into the catalog later tonight because it's going to bother me. I'm not going to know what color it is. I wish they had the colors right on the back. I should start writing the colors on the back, because half the time I'm wondering what colors my bling actually are. Okay, where is this one going to go? Right here. And one more. Right about there. Okay, so that is it for my getting ready for fall, favorite time of the year pumpkin pie card. So I hope you guys really liked it. Like it is what I mean to say. So there was something I wanted to show you before I let you go. I am not a scrapbooker. And I haven't even made a baby book for Kai, and he is a teenager now. So that's been on my mind. Well, Stampin' Up! Came out with scrapbooking workshops. So I bought 3. I bought an autumn one, and a Halloween one, and a Christmas one. And all I need to do now is pick out some pictures and put these together, because they come with instructions, which is perfect for someone like me who is not a scrapbooker. So stay tuned, ladies. I am going to dive into the world of scrapbooking and start making some photo albums. I think that we're all going to enjoy. So pop a comment if you're a scrapbooker. Let me know, because I might have questions for you when I get into it. I think now I'm hitting a roadblock as to what pictures to actually print off and put in the scrapbook. So I need to do that and get organized, and that is half of the problem. I'm not a very organized person. So, oh, Paper Pumpkin. I almost forgot. Paper Pumpkin has a deal on from now until October 10th. For new subscribers, you can get your first Paper Pumpkin for 40% off. That's a pretty sweet deal. I don't know if you guys use paper pumpkins, but I've got a couple. I was supposed to do this. I planned to do this last week when I was in Surrey for work, but I never got around to it. So, but they're so handy because they come with all the things you need to make a whole bunch of different projects. So if you've never tried paper pumpkin, now's a really good time to try it, because unfortunately the deal is only for new subscribers. So what I read from Stampin' Up! When they sent the email about this was that If you were a previous Paper Pumpkin subscriber and you registered, you would have registered with an email, then if you sign up again, the system's going to recognize you and they won't consider you a new subscriber. So just think about that. If you're going to sign up, if you used to be and you haven't been a Paper Pumpkin subscriber for a while, just know that if you sign up with the same email, the system's probably going to decide that you're not a new customer. So, and that would be sad. That would be sad. All right, I'm going to flip the camera around if I can do it without messing things up. I'm still learning my new phone. Technically, there we go. All right, so some of you know this is my little sun catcher spider that my friend Cindy made me, and I noticed this when I flipped the camera around because I don't know what's happening, but we are getting so many wolf spiders in the house this time of year. I know fall's coming. As soon as the wolf spiders start making their way into the house, and I don't know how they're getting in, and they're not little spiders. They are the kind of spiders that cast a shadow when they scurry across your floor. They are big, but they're well behaved. I still don't like them in the house, so I'm constantly chasing big spiders out of my house because fall is coming and the wolf spiders like to come into my house when that happens. So if anybody else has problems with big spiders coming to live in your house in the fall, I'd love to hear it. So yeah, I think that's it. So next weekend, Saturday, September 21st, Crafty Fall Social in person for those of you on Vancouver Island that feel like a crafty social time with some fabulous ladies. Tanya and I still have a couple spots left, 3 maybe. So we've got the Crafty Fall Social Saturday morning from 10 till 12. And then after that, we have a little bit of festive card making workshop. So that's on the in-person stuff. We have a few spots left. But if you don't live local, you can, but you do live in Canada. So if you're Canadian, but you don't want to do in person, then reach out to either Tanya and myself and we will mail you a card class at home. So we've just done all the videos for that and everything's ready to go. And if you don't live in Canada, but you're interested in the class, there is a tutorial only option for $7 Canadian. And what you get with that is the video tutorials for all 10 projects. And we'll be using a little bit of festive specialty designer paper from the mini catalog. So if you have any questions, shoot me a message or comment and we can chat about it. And that is it. Thanks very much for tuning in live. If you're catching me on a replay, say hello, tell me where you're from, and just thanks for taking time out of your day to see what I'm up to. I'll see everybody next week.